almost knocked, but recalled that. He said come in when I came back, and so I pushed the door a crack, then was taken very much aback. The place before was so defaced with butts and ash in every space, but now his home had been replaced and restored into a state of grace. The odor had evaporated, his blow-up couches reinflated, and the dust from butts that irritated all seemed to be obliterated. Hello, hello, and welcome back, he said, then slapped me on the back. I see you have a grocery sack. Please come and sit and do unpack. What's going on? How have you been? I must say, I thought the chances slim for your return. That's why I grin. How was your night? Oh, do begin. Well, my gas tank was reduced to E when I left the university, and so I stopped and fueled at Sheets, then went to get some groceries. At the store, I got some tennis shoes, some toothpaste, and some scissors, too. Mouthwash, conditioner, and shampoo, as well as soap and sexy man perfume. I also brought you nicer clothes from the Goodwill down the road, and it's neat how far this hat can go in keeping your ears unexposed. You did all this and we just met. I also brought you Nicorette, a substitute for cigarettes, and sunblock before I forget. But how about you, my giant friend? What'd you do when I left your den? It seems you cleaned and cleaned again, and that a lot of time was spent. Oh yes, I did. I cleaned and cleaned. The odors here was so extreme, and since my nose found them obscene, I decided on a change of scene. When you left, I poured a drink, sat in my chair, began to think of all the dishes in the sink and the food on them that caused the stink. Then I heard the dishes' eerie call that ordered me to clean them all, so I jumped up, ran down the hall, quicker than a cannonball. But then another voice arose, and said I really should dispose of all the things that decompose inside a fridge that's always closed. And then I heard my sofa yell that with some soap I should expel the dirt and grime that caused the smell, and so I did all that as well. This voice continued quite a bit until I was really sick of it. I cleaned all the places dirt might sit, at least as much as time permit. But then I realized it was you, the voice that came to change to new. My old life, though tried and true, that simply would no longer do. I thought I was who was being taught. At first, that's also what I thought. That's the impression that I got. It seems you were, but also not. My addiction was a crutch. I leaned on that crutch far too much. Then you came down and I was touched, so now I've shifted like a clutch. That is when I examined why you decided to come in, to help me quit, succeed, and win at changing myself from within. I mean, really, was it just a chance that you gave me a second glance and knew I couldn't take a stance, then helped me to my life enhance? Or was it fate, or something more? All the others I implore, just hear my calls and then ignore, but it won't matter anymore. As I looked into his dark green eyes, I knew I must apologize, and so I swallowed all my pride and gently laid it to the side. I thought the exact same thing, that meeting you was destiny. I started smoking at 16 and was introduced to nicotine. I thought that I was in control, but then the butts, they took their toll and left me feeling all but whole, and then my youth they all but stole. But I gave it to the butts, you see. Remember, that's what you told me? I thought I was done and living clean, but then last night I had a dream. The dream I speak of scared me much because I ate some nasty butts. My first dream like that was nuts, about a pie with ashy crust. That is when I thought of you and all the eating that you do. If a single dream was any clue, I must be turning into you. No, that's what's different about us two. You just dreamed, but me, I do. I had a choice, and you do too. I should have chose to never chew. If you think I'm fine, then I'll agree, but I still owe you an apology. I thought about it constantly last night before I fell asleep. I'm sorry, Carl, I didn't know exactly why you live below. I thought it may have been for show, but instead you really helped me grow. I was rude and called you out and said your story left some doubts about what you were all about and how you stumbled down this route. That's why I want to make it up and why I went and bought the stuff. So now, let's go and get you scrubbed. I'm assuming that you have a tub? That apology was awfully grand, but thank you for the reprimand, for even if it wasn't planned, it helped make me the man I am. I gave him all the cleaning junk and all the clothes I took out of my trunk to help him with his body funk, which resembled something like a skunk. When he emerged all clean and dry, he looked just like a different guy, whose posture was no more awry, whose movement had become more spry. His hair was in a ponytail, which made his nose look more to scale, and the hat he wore did all but fail, and the pants he wore hid well his tail. His breath was better, that's for sure, and future friends would not deter. His rotting teeth had all been cured. I double-checked, please be assured. Carl, you are looking great. I can smell you, but don't want to faint. A whole new life I can create. Let's go up now. Why should we wait? I can't see why we shouldn't go unless you want to stay below. You said I should come say hello. If you go first, I'll come in tow. I agreed, and then we climbed. I went first with him behind. Squint your eyes and keep in mind just how bright the sun is known to shine. He confirmed and squinted tight. Luckily, it wasn't bright and was now approaching close to night, just the right amount of light. I could tell this world was new to him, but once more I saw his grin. He pointed it at me again and said, it's really nice to have a friend. This will surely sound insane, but I never heard you say your name. Is it Michael? Is it Dwayne? I hope it isn't something lame. My name is Gabe. Does that work if you say no, you're just a jerk? Gabe will work just fine for me. At least it wasn't Jeremy. Then as we stood on the cement, Carl showed his true intent. Say, don't you have an apartment? I could live with you and pay you rent. The den you have works perfectly. Yes, but it's filled with memories. Plus, I could cook for you and clean and scare off anyone who's mean. I guess that's true, you are unique. So I'll give you a couple weeks to prove to me you're what I seek. Let's hope and pray you won't still reek. And one more thing I must do fast. I have a question I must ask. I promise it will be the last, but what are you and what's your past? Ha ha ha! He laughed out loud. I wondered when that'd come about. I'm a monster, that's enough for now, he ended with a playful scowl. All in good time, my friend, you see. I'm sure there's more to our story. What we'll do and who we'll meet, but for now, let's just go get some sleep. I want answers, don't you care? Is there anything you wish to share? I guess, but please do be prepared, but there are monsters everywhere. And I'm sure we'll meet another one, and when we do, it will be fun, but since our fun has just begun, for now it's best that we be done. Carl and I had become friends, a great beginning for an end. Remember Carl and his den, and that he won't return again. He doesn't need to, nor do I. So never give the butts a try, and if you do ask yourself why, then heed this lesson and apply. Smoking really isn't smart, it isn't cool, it's not an art. But the lesson you should take to heart, instead of quitting, never start. That's it.